Go.
Hey everyone, it is Wendy O here. I am co-hosting on Hotep Jesus's channel. How are you doing tonight, Hotep?
Oh, I'm doing well. Like I know this quarantine thing has me even as a homebody, it's got me a bit discombobulated.
Okay. What are your favorite outside activities to do?
Sports, play ball, play soccer, play football. I'm an athlete, and
Okay.
I coach kids soccer. So I love to be outdoors in that manner, hiking. We even did a little bit of canoeing last summer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so, but it's just like, damn, the weather's starting to get nice. It's like, damn, can you let us out, yo?
It's got that. Do you guys have that summer smell over there? Like you can tell when the seasons start to change because the first day you go outside and they change, you can smell it, and it just smells like
Yeah,
it. Just you get all nostalgic and all that stuff.
yeah. You could definitely taste the summer.
Right. Well, in LA, they're supposed to let us out May 15th. That's the deadline.
Is it May 15th?
That's what they said. That's what the governor or the mayor of LA. That's what he said. But or the mayor of LA. That's what he said. But we'll see how that how that plays out
Mm,
because we
that's
got our stimulus checks and someone I think it was a governor of Texas. He said that's supposed to last Americans 10 months. That $1,200.
where in Mississippi?
I, I I don't. I have no idea, but yeah. So I need to get out of the house. My baby, my daughter, she's 3. She wants to go see Nana. She wants to go back to school. She wants to go do things. I'm generally a homebody too, but I like to go to Target. I like to see live bands. I like to go hiking and travel. And I'm stuck. I'm bored in the house, and I'm in the house bored.
Yeah. Yo, somebody on Logan Boxer asked, he said, is Wendy O a white woman?
I yeah. Well, actually, let's talk about white women here. So I'm society will call me white, but I'm half Italian on my mother's side, Sicilian, and on my father's side, they're Romanian and German, and they're Jewish on that side. But on my mother's side, Italians are different than white people. If you call an Italian person a white person, they're going to pop off.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, we got a little bit of sass to us, and it's just a different. It's different than other white people because you go to someone's house that's maybe like Russian or that's some sort of European, and they're a different culture than us because we pop off at the table and family dinners, all that stuff. It's fun.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Connor Mack with the $1.99 super chat. Victor Life, $8 super chat. Let's get it. Yatu Sabes. Chad, what up, homie? He said, sprinkling some of my Donald dollars to support this great conversation. Hotel.
Thank
Hell
you.
yeah. Spread them Donald dollars love, man.
Yeah, spread those Donald dollars. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's get into it. So we're going to talk about the fall of women tonight, guys. Just like we talked about the fall of men, we got to be equal here, and we got to talk about some of the shortcomings of women, and how women may be failing or essentially falling. And there's some topics that Hotep and I want to kind of touch on a little bit. So you want to talk about the 22-year-old girl on Twitter?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right, so there was a 22-year-old girl on Twitter, and I'm sure most of you guys saw it because this post went viral. But she posted a selfie of her in front of a house. It was a really nice house, and she says, I was able to buy this house because of OnlyFans. Thank you." And people lost their effing mind, like completely lost their mind about it. Me personally, I don't see the issue with it. If she's comfortable with showing her body, she's comfortable with selling it, then bless up, good for her.
Yeah, I agree. I'm anti porn, but shorty out here getting it, somebody's buying it.
Hmm.
So I always blame the people, man. I say, uh, you guys are the market. Somebody created a market. You guys are participating in the market. Somebody has to capitalize on the market. But I think that has to go. A lot of it, goes to where culture is in America now, especially as we slide into this uh, artificial intelligence future. And then, I made this prediction, before, and I'm sure others have as well. But prostitution is going to be big in the future. Um, with so many jobs going automated, um, people are going to be entertaining each other more. You're going to see more YouTubers, more podcasters, and you're going to see more prostitutes.
Well, prostitution is it's the oldest profession ever,
Allegedly.
allegedly. I think it is though.
I disagree.
What do you think is the oldest profession?
Farming.
Farming? Okay. You know what? I've never heard someone say farming. I've always heard prostitution. I can get behind that because people have to eat.
Yeah, I'm one of those people when I hear these phrases. In fact, you can track that phrase back to, I believe it was the 70s. A pimp made it up. A pimp created that term.
Okay.
And it's a term to make women feel a little bit more at ease with being trafficked.
Okay. That makes sense.
It's a sex trafficking coercion term or quote. But yeah, the first profession had to be um, farming, hunting, uh, weaver.
Yeah, no, then that all that stuff is valid, but men have some men they have their things that they like and they want.
Yeah, I see women as the apex predators. So I see men becoming prostitutes before women.
That's true too. I know a lot. I've known both. I've known female prostitutes and male prostitutes.
Yeah, I saw this one video where they was talking about if a man denied you sex, and the women were like, 90% of them were like, oh, I'll just rape him, or I'll take it, or he can't say no. Yeah, these are things that women were saying. So and knowing how women are sexually, in my own experience, I would suspect the blame doesn't fall on only men. Women are definitely nasty, nasty too.
That's true. And that's kind of another topic because you hear in the news and stuff, and I have to be careful how I phrase this, but like obviously there is more violence against women and does get reported more, but there are men that do face violence. And there are men that are, whether they're in a gay relationship or, same sex relationship or whether they're with a woman, they still are suffering and getting, having things happen to them too. But I don't necessarily know if it's talked about more, but
Yeah,
I do I've heard both sides of the story with that one. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But now, just to get back to the subject here with the girl, and um, I was thinking about this before the OnlyFans thing. I was looking at some of these star tenders and these real hot chicks that play bartenders in strip clubs. And these girls are making just as much money as the strippers. 250K a year. And even the strippers too are making really good money, and are gonna find it really hard to find men that can compete with them financially, which is why most of them go for the athletes.
mhm.
Um, Athletes are always a target for them. It's probably the only person that can really out earn them at a high scale
Right.
within their own culture or their own set of ways of doing things. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's fair to criticize old girl. Um, but man, that like get ready because we're gonna see a lot more of that.
No, I agree, and it's a lot of young girls that are doing it, and I get it because some of them have bills, or I don't know, maybe it was the way they were raised that they weren't brought up with self confidence, or where they thought that they can go to school and get this type of job or whatever. Because when I was growing up, it was just my mom, and it wasn't like wasn't there wasn't a whole lot of encouragement just because she had her hands full at the time. So I don't I can get that perspective, but also too like I don't know if your brain's not fully developed at 22 or in your early 20s, but you have to kind of think about the implications of that is that if you go ahead and you're showing your body around, what kind of job are you going to be able to get if you decide to get one? Because your looks are only going to be there for so long. There's only going to be a market for you so long because there's going to be new girls coming in that are going to be better looking. They're going to be more fit than you. They're going to have different qualities that you have, and it's like how long can you really keep doing this?
Yeah, sustainability in that industry. There's uh, a documentary on Netflix um, about prostitution in the porn industry, and in it, they're talking about the evolution of the porn industry, and it seems like today, like the barrier to entry is super low.
Mm-hmm.
super low. But I think there's a positive side too, because now women are actually owning their content and they're getting royalties off of their own content. With the power of technology, they're able to shoot their own content, so on and so forth. Which means that the industry is only going to grow that much faster, being that the barrier to entry is so low. I mean, the girls are talking about back in the day that you had to look a certain way, and society kind of looked at you different,
Mhm.
and you kind of felt ashamed. Whereas now, they got the whole slut walk and pro sex worker thing coming from the socialist side of things,
Right.
which is just making it much easier for the industry to grow. When you don't have to worry about the criticism from your peers.
I also think it's safer for women or people that do decide to go ahead and do that because you don't have to go through a pimp. You don't have to take that drive. Because I heard stories. I had friends like back in the day that would, I hang out with the older crowd and they would have to drive from like Pasadena to like the Valley or whatever. And you go like, there's no, the technology wasn't what it was. So you're calling some number out of a payphone. You're going to like this weird building. Like you have no idea what the heck is going on or who you're supposed to meet, and it's not really safe because all different types of stuff can happen. So now girl or whoever wants to go ahead and become sex worker, they can do it safely from their own home and they don't have to worry about that extra type of stuff, or they don't have to go meet someone in a motel, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The girls are talking about that too. How things are kind of, it kind of creepy dealing with guys. Sometimes guys are coming on to them in the wrong fashion while they're shooting the videos, or sometimes because they're a porn star, guys just think they can talk to them any old type of way. One girl said she was just hanging out, I believe, at a party or gathering or something like that, and some dude pulls his yang out and expects her to do something. So, yeah, there are a lot of things that have made pornography safe. I don't. That's a good thing,
yeah.
but yeah,
She's like, I got to get my money first.
yeah, yeah, hell yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, and like you said, owning the content, that's really important too, is you kind of have control as to who can see that stuff. But the downside with that is like once you post, because I've never been onto OnlyFans, I don't know how it works, but I would imagine once you post a picture, somebody can screen cap it, and after they pay for it, and then kind of do what they want with it. And that part is kind of like there was some girl, she worked for a company, a really well known company in crypto, and I guess she had done porn when she was a lot younger, and some people, some boys, some of these boys, they went and they dug that up, and she had all kinds of interesting footage, and they went and posted all that stuff, and she deleted her account, and people are like trashing her, saying that she wasn't qualified to do that job because of because of her previous video and stuff like that. So that would be something that would worry me, is that if I did something 10 years ago, someone's going to pull something up and be like, hey, this is who you were 10 years ago. And then all the, like, then all the hard work, like going to school and getting a good job or having a family, or like, maybe somebody was a prostitute or a porn star or whatever at one point, but then they go ahead and they want to change their life and they want to become a different person because they had issues or whatever it is. It's kind of hard to get away from that once you're everything out, once all your information is out there and all your personal business.
yeah. I know a couple of people on the timeline who had, especially in right wing Twitter, who had a couple of, lewds or nudes on the timeline, and then yeah, a lot of girls getting caught out there. But I don't think they should be held liable for their past. Obviously, it's gonna happen,
Mhm.
but I think it's unfair. I think people's past is their past. People are allowed to grow. People are allowed to make mistakes, and we can't. I don't think we should hold that over their head. But I mean, there's some bosses. They find out you got some leaked news, they might hire you because they like what they saw.
That's true, but and then that causes another issue because some women, when they're trying to get high level positions, they're kind of put into a corner and they're kind of like, hey, you're going to do this if you want this. And that people will kind of use that leverage against you at times, and I don't, that's not right. But unfortunately, like with the world, there's good people and there's bad people, and there's people that are going to try and take advantage of you, and it's like, how, like, what's the trade-off with that too? And I don't know, I feel like as a woman that happens a little bit more. Like I've had business things going on, and then I've had dudes be like, they're like, okay, I'm going to pay you to provide this service, like to do marketing or to make a video or to do this and that, talk about my company. But then it's like, okay, well, when I meet you, I want to take you out. And I'm like, no, like if you want to do like a group dinner, I'm comfortable with that, but I'm not comfortable going on like a one-on-one meal with a dude.
Yeah, a lot of dudes gonna use that position of power. A lot of
Mine.
dudes are susceptible too. I know, when I was working for 50, I was doing my promo in New York City, and girls would hit on me all the time. And I had an assistant at the time. Sometimes I didn't even respond to the girls. I would just point to my assistant. My assistant would just like handle it from there because I kind of knew from the energy that
Mhm.
like they're shoving their tits in my face, trying to get me to like pay attention so I can get them a job or more gigs or sponsor them or something like that.
Mhm.
So a lot of men think that there's a possibility. When you come into that situation, women are eager to use sex to climb the ladder.
That's true. That's very true. That's how it is. Like with, I dated somebody that was a musician, and there was just girls around 24/7, like, all the time. And if they always would come up to him, they always wanted, to get to him, to talk to his friends or to talk to this person and do that. So they'll use sex to, to kind of, to get to that. So it's put some of you guys in a bad position, because if you're in a committed relationship, or you don't even want to deal with it, because some women will use that, and then they'll come on to you and they'll be like, oh, no, 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 he came on to me because they have a man, or because whatever, whatever type of situation that is, or extort. They're trying to extort people sometimes. Not all women, but some people do. Some people, women do. But it puts you guys in a bad spot too, because at the end of the day, you guys are men. Like, you can't your genetic makeup is your genetic makeup. Like, we're all
Yeah,
built a certain way. Men are built one way, women are built one way, and it's not fair to you guys, I think.
yeah, and then sometimes you're afraid to hire an attractive girl because you don't want to be false accused.
Hmm.
Sometimes girls they hit on you and you like, look, I'm good. I don't want to do this. They take offense. They feel offended, and then they run to your superior and say, "Oh, such and such hit on me." It's
Right.
like, what? No, she hit on me, and it's like they'll say, "Well, why didn't you say something?" Like, I spoke to her not to do it. Like, you know what I mean? So it becomes a matter at that point. It becomes who reports to HR first.
Right. Hmm.
And she reports to HR first. You already know what that's gonna do.
Yeah.
Not even you might even keep your job, but just that rumor going around the workplace that such and such accused you. Now everybody's looking at you crazy. You know what I mean? So it gets weird.
It just takes one too. Like, I mean, even regardless if it's at work, or if it's online, or if it's like any type of professional situation, or even not, it just takes one person to say one thing, and then people will not look at you the same again.
Right, right,
Or
right.
they'll come up with, like, somebody will say X, but then they'll be like, oh, well, because that game, that cup game where you put a string to it, and like the telephone game, and then every single person that you tell new information, or tell the information to it, the story changes all the time. So then you have so and so tried hitting on you, but then you say no, and then it turns in that you're this horrible person, and she's whatever. So I
Yeah, the
get.
story the story starts morphing and taking on a life of its own.
Gotta
Before
be
you know
careful
it,
with that.
before you know it, everybody thinks you Harvey Weinstein.
Oh my god, what a mess! Isn't it interesting that nobody's talking about that guy anymore right now?
Oh man.
That's another topic, but I guess.
He definitely did disappear. I guess
Hmm.
after the sentence and him getting over the COVID virus, that's it, man. I guess he's doing his time in Rikers. I'm
Hmm.
surprised. I thought they was gonna come up with the old, you know,
Epstein.
yeah,
Yeah, that's that. Hollywood is another industry with all the stuff that's coming out, and I don't know. But let's talk about gold diggers.
okay,
I want to talk about that. I want to, because there's two sides to that, because there's men that do that and there's women that do that, but women are more well known for that, especially coming to dudes with money. Like, any type of any man that has a significant amount of money, I feel like they're always kind of watching over their shoulder to make sure that that woman, or that girls or women or whoever, are being serious with him, and not just using him for the money, or just not trying to get pregnant. Because you all know that what we all have a friend that was a gold digger, that was running around and just was trying to get pregnant by someone with money so they didn't have to work.
uh, damn, yeah. The gold diggers are professionals, man. They have connections at hotels. They got their friends that have connections um at the airlines, so they know when they touch down, what hotel they're staying at, what room. Um, that they know what bars these players frequent, so they're always at particular bars or spots or this can be dressed on. But for the most part, women are uh, they're scientifically built to be hypergamous, but
Mhm.
I think there's a scandalous way to go about doing it, and then there's an ethical way to go about doing it. And as you see with guys like Rob Kardashian, you know, it's real easy to get caught up in how to ruin baby mama out here. Um, and these women are professionals; they good at what they do. You got to remember, his baby mama was a stripper, so she
They,
specialized in coercion of men.
right.
That's a profession, you know.
But that's a I see. I didn't know all that. That they knew like what hotel they're at when they're touching like all that stuff because that's like private information. Like because I worked in healthcare before and there's HIPAA, the law that protects your medical history and stuff. So it's like, isn't that stuff kind of private? Like I know when I go to check into hotels, I make sure that I tell them like I don't want anyone knowing that I'm staying here because I have weird people online and I give them my husband's name. I said only tell this if this person calls, make sure you tell him what room I'm in, and or direct the call here. So I'm like, I try to be really careful, but I'm sure if you pay them enough, they would speak on it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the homegirls got those jobs.
Okay.
Like that's like their bestie, and and
That's scandalous, man.
yeah, and these girls got a little network going. It's a little underground network of gold diggers going. I used to date a gold digger, but she was a different type of gold digger. She used to date basketball players and
Okay.
rappers,
Okay.
but she used to make them spend money and not give them none.
Okay.
Or at least that's what she told me.
Hmm. Well, that is, I do know there are women like that because I had a friend and she was a dancer and she was in school and she was like very punk rock and very like just she wasn't like some of the other girls that she worked with, but she had met this guy and he was a multimillionaire and he had land and property all over the world and she never slept with him, but he bought this I think I talked about it on the last show that we were on, but he bought her everything: car, phone, guns, Tiffany's jewelry, like literally everything, and she would not sleep with him. And he paid her friend. He said, if you get her to marry me, I will pay your tuition at UCLA.
Wow.
And
Damn.
my friend, I don't like, I haven't talked to her in a million years, but nothing happened with them. And I guess she just was told him, she's like, I met someone, I'm not interested anymore. But he was just tossing money around like crazy. Like anytime I'd go to her house, she's like, I'm shopping online. You want something? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, you would think rich guys like that have it easy getting girls, but a lot of them don't know, man. A lot of them don't know how to do it, even with the money and everything. I remember speaking to a couple of chicks, and they used to tell me stories about DJs, and then I'd be like, "DJ who?" I'm like, "Yo, really?" Like, yeah. It's just like how dweebish and cornball some of these dudes could be, man. Like no game and really desperate to get laid, and
Really?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's crazy to me. I guess you have to have swagger though. Like there's a certain type of swagger that you have to have and confidence that you have to have. I know guys that were always real I've known dudes that have been unattractive, but the swagger that they had and the personality that they had, they would be able to get any chick possible. Like any chick possible. And I've seen it happen. It's just you have to walk in with confidence and you present yourself a certain way, and these women, they will flock because they can, they sense that confidence and they want a real man, and they would associate that confidence with being a real man.
Yeah, that hypergamy also not only deals with money, but also deals with confidence and your level of masculinity. So I find that women who are gold diggers often chase after me too, or guys like me, because of how much confidence we have.
Mhm.
You know, because I guess they only see it with rich guys, with these athletes or something like that. But I've had athletes be jealous of me, like, what are you doing talking to that Hotep Jesus guy? Are you messing with him? It's just like, look, tell homeboy he could have you. I want no problem.
Well, women do that too. Is they like to play games, especially if they're trying to court a man and they're having trouble getting him. So what they do is they'll try to make him jealous. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm talking to this person, or I was with this person," and Like I'm just like, hmm. But women will definitely try to do that. They try to manipulate the situation, and they will. That is some of the things they'll do. Like if somebody's got a name, they'll be like, "Oh, well, I was with so and so," or if it's somebody that may be kind of a threat to that person, they do that. Or they'll play two friends against each other, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah. I'm gonna read off some super chats.
All right.
Um, Actually, never mind. Logan Boston, thank you, man, and clean up your rack, bro. Clean up your rack, please. Um, but yeah, you know, these groupies are really good at what they do. I've seen them. I've seen them in action. They're organized. Um, they know how to strike. Um, and it is really turned off. I've been really turned off. Being in the entertainment industry and seeing it firsthand, being around 50 Cent. That night I was in the club with him and Floyd Mayweather, and just watching how the girls act and like kind of like hang around like roaches, like trying to leech their way into VIP, and they'll push you out the way. I had girl like push me out the way trying to get to 50. It's just like, yo, lady, calm down. Like you can get ahead. I don't even want to stand next to them. Like I'm trying to
Right.
go somewhere else.
That
So
was always that was always bizarre to me. Like I had friends that they would go and do whatever with the bouncers to get us into places. I never did that. I was just like there. Like if I didn't get in, I didn't get in, and that was cool. But I just didn't understand. Like if you're not attracted, like I don't know, if you're not attracted to somebody, I don't get that whole like even if they have money, like I don't know. I just that's just I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I
a
would
lot
just
of them learn from their mom. Some of these moms are professional gold diggers. When we look at, I don't know if we can classify her as a gold digger, but Chris Jenner, I don't know if that's gold digging or excellent mate selection, but she's gone from attorney millionaire to Olympic gold medalist. She knows how to pick them, and her daughters have followed suit.
right.
The way they pick men. But I think a lot of these women, you see their moms. Some of these Instagram chicks, you'll see their moms, and you kind of look at their mom, and then sometimes they'll show flashback pics of their mom modeling. It's like, oh, your
Okay.
mom was a vixen too. That's where you learned it from.
Okay, see that makes sense. See, my mom, after her and my dad split, and then my dad passed away. My mom was always very like had class to her, and she was never in. Like my mom did not date. She dated my best friend's dad, and I called them like my stepdad and my stepsister because we're best friends. But that was it. And she wouldn't date. She was very picky on who she dated, and she wouldn't just go out and just to have a partner. Like she had to be attracted to him. There were certain things about it. So I was brought up very much like, okay, if you're going to be with somebody, be with them because you want to, not because they have this, because you can go out and get it yourself. She didn't tell me how to go get it, but she but brought me up like that. So that's actually an interesting thing. If the mom's like that, then the kids grow up and they see that and they think that that's normal and they think that's okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. The moms are good, man. The moms, they teach them how to dress, how to walk, how to seduce. And some of the moms, you got some of them. You got I saw OnlyFans with mom and daughter couple. I said, "Oh Lord, have mercy."
That's embarrassing. I don't know. That's embarrassing, man. I think it is. Like, because you have that, like, growing up, I had a couple friends, and their moms were really good looking. So all the boys would be like, oh, the mom's a MILF, blah, blah, blah. And even with my mom, too. And my mom was always like so shocked. I'm like, Mom, so and so called you a MILF. And she would be like, very like that about it. But you always had, that one friend that had a really hot mom. But I don't know. I couldn't imagine being like that with my daughter. Like I have a daughter. I couldn't imagine being like that with her. Like obviously I want to teach her how to take care of herself, like how to dress cute, like how to talk to people, how to be respectful, like, talk to her about relationship stuff, give her advice on that. But I wouldn't be interested in like courting dudes with her or like pushing her off on dudes. Like, can you imagine?
Well, mom lonely too. So if she can use her daughter as bait to grab her something, it's like ask me if the daddy's single too.
My God, but I don't know. But that's your baby. That's like that to me. That's like prostitution.
I mean, some of these women are raising their daughters like that from birth. I mean, when you look at like drag mom, with that drag kid that she had him watching drag races till he was 3.
Hmm.
Like she really like bred this child to be like that. So a lot of women are breeding these women to be predators of men, how to
Yeah,
prey on men.
that that is not that's not okay. Like I have there's certain things you watch with your kids and that you allow them to be around, and I wouldn't feel comfortable like we were really like my husband and I, we really don't watch too many movies in front of my daughter because they have like some adult stuff. I don't want her to see that type of stuff. I want her to be, if she wants to be into Disney princesses or Peppa the Pig or whatever it is, whatever she's into, that's good. But I'm not interested in having her, walk in on a potential sex scene or somebody getting all sexy and whatnot. And like I have gay friends too, and like she's been around we FaceTime with my gay friends, but they're not like in drag in front of her and whatever. They're just like normal, like a normal boy. And obviously some of them have that little, the accent,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's not, it's not nothing sexual. I don't want anything sexual around my daughter like at all until she's whenever, when she's 18, that's fine, or 16, that's fine, but
yeah.
none of that stuff.
I mean, the way girls are brought up, especially with Disney programming, they're basically brought up to uh, be a wife. All those stories end with finding a prince, and if the
That's
prince
true.
don't want you, your life is destroyed. Like it's over. Right?
Well, that's why I try to combat that, because she's my daughter's really, she at first she's really into music, like super into music. She loves outlaw country. My husband is a big outlaw country fan. She likes rock, she likes like Ray Charles. She likes blues and jazz, anything with like drums or piano or guitar. She's into that. So I let her watch those types of music videos. But now she's into princesses because all the girls at her school, her daycare, they're into princesses. So that's fine and dandy, because to me, it's good to embrace it's good to embrace your female side, because but one thing I try to do to kind of offset that, she's like, oh mommy, when I grow up I want to do this. But I always try to, like, I do positive affirmations with her. I'm like, you can grow up to be anything you want. You have to work hard. You can, if you want to, you don't have to rely on anybody. Like, I'm very careful what I tell her, but I also give positive affirmations, telling her like she's amazing and she's smart and she's intelligent and she's beautiful. And I don't focus on, I focus on her being who she is, not you need to be like this person. I want her to embrace the woman that she's going to grow into, and not be like, oh, well, I want to be like Cinderella or with Belle or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, your kids are going to grow in the direction of sunlight, and sunlight is whatever you reward them
Mm-hmm.
for, right? You can provide sunlight for your daughter doing her makeup or her reading a book. And I think it's the things that we reward little girls for that's a problem. I think sets them up for sex trafficking from a very early age. Do your nails and do your hair and your makeup, and it's just like, oh, every time you see the girls, oh, you're so pretty, oh, you're so this, you're so that, as opposed to, oh, you're so smart, you're so creative, you're so intelligent. These type of things, which should become the things that we reward all children for, as opposed to some of the dumb stuff. You know. I think that's a major key, man. Sunlight is a reward system.
Right. Well, that's why I do. That's why I try to focus on both stuff. Like, I try to focus on the female aspect, like, you're beautiful, you're smart, like whatever. But then I'll go to like, you're smart and you're intelligent and you're strong and you're brave. So I do both, because I think that both are important. Because I don't want her to feel that she's not pretty, or that she's not beautiful, or that she's lacking something in the looks department. Because as women, we want to look good. Like, I want to look good. Like, I
Right.
I want to make sure, like, when I go out in public, I don't go out in pajamas. I put clothes on, and I'll do like my hair, I make myself look presentable, and I want her to feel, and that helps breed confidence. But I don't want her to rely on her looks to get a job or to do well in society. I want her to know deep down inside she's beautiful and she's pretty, but I also want her to be, but I'm smart too, and to kind of rely on her brains and her intelligence. But I also want to make her feel pretty and beautiful, because I didn't have anybody telling me that, growing up. So I want
Hmm.
her to feel, I want her to get the best. I want to like do full circle with her. Everything, anything she wants to do, I want to support it. And I want to make
Right.
her feel positive and, powerful and as strong as I can, but also respectful too, because that's important too. Is I feel like a lot of people, they don't raise their kids to kind of respect differences, and to, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's a terrible time to raise a daughter.
You're telling me. I thought I was gonna have a boy, because my husband has two kids from a previous marriage. His mom had four boys, so I was like, okay, my daughter was the first girl in 60 years on his side of the family. So I was like, okay, I'm having a boy. and I wanted a little boy, and then I found out I was pregnant with a girl, and I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? But
Yeah, yeah. I think it's scary to raise a little girl, dangerous to raise a little boy. You
yeah,
know.
but for little boys, there's issues too because like we talked about, like with gold diggers and like some of these other issues that women can get a little bit abusive and they can get hostile too, and they play these games. And the way society is set up is that because there's more statistics on for the female side, they don't pay attention to outliers, and the outliers are important too because there's men that get that get the really terrible treatment. And one of the things with that is that I see a lot of, and that my husband dealt with firsthand, is like the whole child support thing and the way the courts are set up, because the courts, they favor the women, which in most cases I get, but there's good men out there and there's good dads out there, and they should be entitled to raise a child just as much as the mom can, and it shouldn't be based on money or income. Like obviously a man needs to man up. If you have a baby, you need to support your child and whatnot, but there's got to be some sort of middle ground there.
Yeah. How you? How you? What's the next topic?
Next topic. All right. Next topic is going to be, we're going to talk. You want to talk about how women do not want to get married or have kids, but they expect to keep a man?
Oh, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So there's a lot of women and they want to be in a committed relationship with a man, but they don't want to get married or they don't want to have babies. And they just expect the man to just kind of be there because they want to be Miss Independent,
They want to be Miss Independent.
but they want a man. They want the attention.
Right. 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 Uh. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is boy pets. Boy pets are going to become popular for these women, but they're going to grow bored of them because of who really likes a weak man, right?
Right.
So they'll probably rotate that into old age and wish they had a man and turn into the cat lady. Um,
But that makes them bitter.
oh yeah, they're doing to be better, but I believe, I like to blame men for everything. Um, I believe that a masculine man can kind of change that. I feel like a lot of women who've given up on relationships haven't met a real man.
That's true because I feel like we talked about this last show, but I feel like a lot of men, they're not men, they're still boys. They could be like 40 years old and they're still acting like boys.
Yeah, I mean, society kind of like, I shouldn't say society, I hate saying that, but men are like castrated now because of public opinion or political correctness. Men are castrated and afraid to speak up. That affects their, levels of masculinity. They're jerking off too much. That's going to affect their levels of testosterone. You know, all these things. And then you figure uh, what the draft did to men. During World War One, World War Two, Vietnam, so on and so forth. The thousands of men that died, the 100,000 of men that died. Um, then you figure the rest are incarcerated on drugs
Hmm.
or under the influence of alcohol or taken.
Yeah, so there's not a whole lot to pick from the pool. So you have these men that are with women, and the women are like, and I don't really have a problem with the women, with the females making the rules, but like, because I kind of, there's some things I dictate to my husband, but at the end of the day, he's like, you're gonna do this, this, and this is not okay. Like he puts me in my place, he tells me, and that's one of the reasons why I married him, is because I was kind of wild when I was younger, and I needed some structure. So when I met him, it was more like we had our issues in the beginning because we were both hot messes, but towards the end, like, or before we got married, like when he got his stuff together and I had my stuff together, he's like, you're not going to go out anymore. He's like, if you want to go out, that's fine, but you need to be home by this time, and you can't go with this person, but you could go with this person. So he kind of was kind of he dictated what I did, but it wasn't like in a really bad controlling way. It was more of like, okay, if you want to be married to me, if you want to be with me, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, that's open communication. I think a lot of people are afraid to do that, are afraid to say, hey, this is what I want out the relationship, take it or leave it. And a lot of men are cut, they'll they won't communicate that. They'll get married. Then after you're married, you're miserable because your wife is out in the streets all the time. She belongs to the streets. Right?
Yeah, no. I have a question for you. What is your take on marriage as far as living together before you get married? Are you with that, or you think that, are you old school to where you court, you date, you ask parents if you can get married, and then you get married, and then you move in together.
I think marriages need to be arranged.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of arranged marriages.
Okay. Are you married? Is your marriage arranged?
No, I'm
Okay.
single, but I have a girl. We're moving towards that direction
Okay. All
of
right.
marriage. Um, but yeah, I wish my marriage was arranged. You know, that would be great if, I graduated from high school. My parents are like, here's your girl. Fucking thank you. Like you kind of took some of the work out from me.
But what happens if you're not physically attracted to her?
Um,
What happens if it's Big
here's,
Bertha?
well, here's the thing with arranged marriages, people think that they're blind, right? Like
Okay.
they're blind arranged marriage. They're usually not arranged marriage. Usually say, hey, what do you think about such and such's daughter? And you go, oh yeah, I think she's hot. And then he puts a good word in their parents and they set it up and then, they make sure the daughter's okay with it. And she says, okay, I think I'd like that. And you get to know each other and you start dating. But the parents had to be married, right? Like, so that way you know that you're marrying into a family of good values,
Okay.
maybe a family of good wealth, because two people aren't getting married, a family is getting married. Um, um, family trees are intersecting branches now, right?
Hmm.
There's a lot of things that are being brought into play here. So when you bring people in your family, it's very important to choose somebody that's going to carry on the legacy of the last name and so on and so forth. But I'm a big fan of arranged marriages. Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Okay. All right. I can get behind that because I have friends from different cultures, and the way what they did, my friend, she was Muslim, and she met her husband on a dating site, and they met, like, they talked, they chatted online a bunch. They met. They decided that they wanted to get married because that was part of the culture, or at least what her culture and her the way she was brought up. And then they met the parents. The parents said that's fine. You can. He comes from a good family. Da 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 da. They got married, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing we got to remember too is attraction is maybe like 10% of a relationship. You know,
That's true though. That is true because, like me, I'm more like every man that I've dated. They've always had a certain swagger to them, and it was more not based on looks. It was more of like confidence, and it was more attitude. And I just couldn't be with somebody that I didn't click with, and I can't be friends with somebody that I don't click with. Like we could be cool, like high and bye friends, but I'm not gonna ride with you if like I don't click with you.
yeah, yeah. And I feel like with moving in and such. I don't know. I don't know how you get married to somebody you haven't lived with.
Okay. Yeah, that was us too. Is because he and I we lived together like 5 years before we got married, and the reason why is because I wanted to make sure that it was going to be sustainable, because I feel like once you live with somebody and you're washing their drawers for them, you're washing their socks for them, you're cooking for them, like, you got to see how clean they are, like, and there's certain things about my husband that I really liked, and that jived with me, but I just couldn't be with I just can't imagine being with somebody else that was didn't have those similar characteristics, but I wanted to make sure, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I think people need dating houses, right? Here's what
Dating
I
houses.
I mean, let's be honest. Everybody falls in love within the first 48 hours, right? So,
That's true. They do. That's that is true. People can fall in love fast.
right, like you like the person, da da da. You're texting, back and forth. Y'all talking, y'all FaceTime, and in 48 hours, it's like, oh, I like this person a lot, right? So it's like, all right, good. You want to date, right? Cool. Go live in this house now, right? This is a dating house. If this is arranged marriage type stuff, you have an investment property that is just, for when your child's ready to start dating. And you move in with this person. Now you're forced to live with this person from, the day you start dating. Half of these people wouldn't last a week together.
They wouldn't. They wouldn't.
I think you'd save a lot of time that way too. When you start seeing people's habits and you start saying, "Oh no, this is not what I have for my future, planned for my future." Like you're hot and everything, you're cool, but I didn't know that you smell like this in the bathroom, like, or you leave hair in the sink, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you don't, because some boys leave the toilet seat up and they do not wipe the floor.
yeah,
And not my man. He's very clean. So
okay. Yeah, so like those little things, right? You might like so you might say like here's a good example, right? You talk to a chick, you say, hey, yeah, I think you're hot. Don't want to talk. Cool. You cook? Yeah, I cook. Oh yeah, cool. Go quarantine for 30 days. See how many meals she cooked. She come out, she cooked 2 meals. You're like, this ain't for me. She's ordering pizza the rest of the days.
Oh no, oh, no, no, no. I've ordered out since we've been quarantined. I've ordered out twice and it's been pizza. And the rest of the time we either cooked or had leftovers.
Yeah.
Got to do it. Got to do it. Let's be, because I know starting to run out of time. I want to talk about something that happened on Twitter with one of my friends.
All right.
I want to get your take on this. So my girl Ash Toshi, she had posted something about boys on Twitter. They all watch a lot of porn, especially all these boys in crypto. But they got mad at her because she had appeared in some content, and I guess she had a low cut shirt on, and they were mad that she had cleavage. So they were trashing her for having cleavage, but then they go hit on her, and then they make really sexual lewd comments in her mentions, and and are like big on porn. But then they're trashing her for having a little bit of cleavage. And women, we have boobs. Like we have boobs. That's sometimes you just can't hide it. And they weren't like all out, but it wasn't like she was begging for attention. It's just they were there, and it's to me it wasn't a big deal. So I want to know your take on that and why. What's going on with that?
Well, obviously there's a contradiction there.
Okay.
People say one thing, but they do another. I teach marketing, and I often tell people be careful what you put in your surveys, who you survey, and how you survey people, because people will say one thing in a survey and do
Mm-hmm.
a whole other thing. People will say, you're asking a survey, would you like to go to plays? You'd be like, yeah. It's like, all right, when's the last time you went to a play? Never. Okay, so you don't really want to go to plays because if you wanted to, you would have gone to one. So people say a lot of things, but their actions totally are going to contradict that. Men, we suck in that department, where we'll say, oh my God, look at this debauched society we live in. And then the chick posts a little cleave, and you like, oh, hey, hold up now. I like that, right? So, it's a contradictory nature. What I don't like is like it's one thing to be contradictory, but it's another thing to like express those gripes toward a chick. Dude, like people want to see that. You can't be mad at her because she's, you know, selling what she got.
But it wasn't like they were like out out. That was the thing. It's just they're there, like you can see, like their boobs. Like some women have bigger boobs than others, and they're just there. So it's like I don't
They,
understand. I don't understand why they're honing in on it though, and they're just complaining about it. But then you're posting all this sexual stuff about women. You're like being all thirsty in the threads, like talking about bobs and vagina, all this stuff. But then you're mad because you see a picture of a chick and she's well endowed.
well, we got to talk about the contradiction of women. Women to
Okay.
say stuff, like, oh, it's just boobs, it's just cleavage. It's just like, well, if it's just cleavage and just boobs, you'd have covered it up. But you got the cleavage out because you know what type of attention that brings. You know it's going to get more clicks.
That's true in some cases, and that's why I'm very careful the stuff I post on Twitter because I know most of my audience are men. So you will not see me in a bikini picture. You will not see me like generally in a low cut shirt, like something like this. I'll wear because I'm not like out. But I remember I posted a picture. It was a selfie. I was holding up a shirt for a company, and I had shorts on, and their shorts I would wear to the store, just whatever. And people lost their mind because you can see my legs, and I wasn't being sexual or anything. But after that, I'm like, okay, I have to just post from like here up and just my face.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I see that in the political movement too, where a girl would dress a certain way, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this isn't conservative enough. What are you doing with your chest all out?" And I don't agree with taking your gripes with like if you feel that way inside, like I agree. Yeah, maybe women shouldn't be presenting themselves like that in 2020. That's kind of light. But I don't agree with taking your gripes up with the woman and attacking her for it. She doing what she does. Like that shit's normal now. There's not much you can do to change society and how they view cleavage. And women don't really think about it too much. But when women buy a shirt with cleavage, they look at their boobs. They go, "Oh, my boobs look nice in this." Like that's why you wear the shirt. That's why you bought it because you said to yourself in that mirror, my boobs look nice in this. So everybody, even other women, are gonna go, "Oh, those boobs look nice." Like I'm gonna tune in to check out your boobs. It's just part of the game. I think women have to do a better job with ignoring a lot of men when it comes to that stuff. And I think women feed into those negative comments way too much. I think the most successful women completely ignore it, right? So like the Bernie girl, OK Boomer song chick,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like she's been getting like backlash from everybody, right? She hasn't paid it an ounce of attention. Her Twitch subscribers are way up. She's got new sponsorships. She's doing very well for herself. Whereas some women, they feed into that and it starts to wear down on them emotionally. I think you kind of got to ignore those guys and know, hey, yeah, my boobs sell. You know, some people are going to be respectful, some people are not, but hey, boobs sell. And I'm
So
selling.
just ignore it as a woman. Just ignore it because I catch myself sometimes getting mad, like like comments that people make on Twitter sometimes. So I get mad, but I've been trying to work on that. So just block them.
Yeah, you just block them. You don't even say anything. You just block them. You
That's a good
know,
idea.
yeah. In my book, Dominate Twitter, link is in the box below. I talk about when and how to engage with trolls and even how to turn them into money. Very, very interesting tactics. But there are rules to engagement of
Okay.
the trolls. But yeah, generally, as a woman, if you're wearing a low cut shirt, you got to know what comes with that. I'm
Right.
not saying it's right. It's not right. It's not right at all. I really think it's corny that these dudes whack off all day and then come attack a woman for dressing like what they just whacked off to.
But what do you think that's where do you think that aggression and that anger stems from? Is it because they can't have the woman, or is it because they have some mommy issues? Like what do you think it stems from?
Um, these men become attached to you ladies. Like
Okay.
in their head, you're like their girlfriend, right? Like these women become their girlfriend, so to speak. For example, hot chick posts a picture with her boyfriend. She's losing 1,000 followers.
Okay.
Maybe 10,000, depending on how many she has. Like the dream is over, right? And then some of these men, they like these girls, and then when they post these pictures, they feel like it's their girlfriend that is exposing themselves to the internet. And they had these,
Ah.
they become protective and
So
sometimes overprotective.
so then they call them names because they can't they that's weird. That's so weird.
Well, again, this very low IQ type individual we're dealing with here.
Okay.
A very low social IQ person we're dealing with here. Not too sharp. But yeah, usually the lower dregs of the internet who can't get girls are susceptible to this weird and embarrassing behavior.
That's an interesting take on it because it goes back to like the incel culture that and then the need to kind of lash out at somebody because you maybe it's like you envy them or you want to be with them or you can't have them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a lot there, but they definitely are protective of these girls, and they think that they're in a relationship with these girls, and they think they have a chance to get these girls, and 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 sometimes it's disappointment, right? Like they have this. Even with me, like people create this idea of people on the internet, right? So like one time I was tweeting and doing my thing, and then I guess this is before my YouTube, but I spoke to somebody offline, and they were like, "You don't sound like what I thought you would sound like." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" They were like, "I thought you would sound like really proper." So I'm like, "Are you disappointed that I sound like a black man?" Like, you know. And they were like, "Yeah, actually, I am." This is a black person too.
Really?
Yeah. But people create these ideas in their head of you, even as being a quote unquote public figure. You can't even get too close to your fans because you get too close to them, they get comfortable and they start thinking they can talk to you like friends and so on
Mhm.
and so forth. So you have to kind of like keep this distance between people. But these people, they feel like they know you sometimes, and they go overboard with that. But they create this idea in their mind, and sometimes you shatter that bubble. And when you shatter that bubble, they lash out. Like when I was promoting Trump real heavy, and then I said one day, I said, "Hey guys, guess what? I didn't vote." And then like mad people got mad at me, like, "How did you tell us this? Da, 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 you don't vote." Da, 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 da. I burst that bubble because they thought that I was this, statist who was gung ho Republican, and then they got their bubble burst. So sometimes it's that where a girl like they might have this idea of a girl, and she pops her boobs out, and they're like, "Oh, you're just another e thought. You're just another e girl out here. I thought you're a respectable professional." And it's just like, shut up, bro.
I love that voice. That's my favorite voice, that troll voice. That impression. Oh my goodness. No, that's actually interesting. That's kind of good advice, especially for me. It's like sometimes I need to hear that too, because like because I that's what I do is I play on the internet, and that's how I make money with through sponsorships, or I do marketing for companies or whatever it is. And then you get these people that are attacking you, and then like sometimes like it hurts me sometimes, but then I have to think, okay, what happened to them, what did their parents do to them, like what are they have this expectation, they see me online but they haven't met me in person, they probably sat down and had a drink with me, then like as like friends, and it would probably be different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Telling you, when you're online, people, I think you can get a good grasp of people's personalities if you're intelligent, right? And you can read between the lines. But some people take everything they see as the end all be all of an individual and
Right.
think they know you based upon tweets. You can't know somebody from
Right.
tweets. There's
Yeah.
so much more.
Yeah, and you don't know, like, I don't know, me personally, like, I like to shake hands with somebody. I like to look them in the eye and meet them in person, because on the internet or like even like video chat, it's not this, like, if you never met them before, it's not the same, because you get that different, you get a whole type of different person, you get different energy. You don't get that online. Like, and I mean, I love being able to communicate. I love being able to come on here and talk to you and speak with people, and different types of people. But at the end of the day, like, I want, if I'm going to have like a long-term relationship with someone or a business partnership, I want to meet them one day. I want to, get that vibe, because to me it's all about the vibe with somebody. Like, if you can't vibe with somebody, like, you can only vibe so much virtually, but if you can't vibe with them in person, then there's no connection. It's not real.
Yeah, yeah. Chad Lemoyne talking about earlier. Thanks for the super chat. He said, "I tell my kids I'm not proud of looks, intelligence, other gifts. Those gifts are optimized and shared. I'm only proud of effort and choices. Effort and
That's
choices. I like that."
I like that too. That's a good one, because we're not, all humans are not built the same. Some people are smarter than others, some are more attractive than others. But at the end of the day, if somebody can provide value with effort and choices, make the right choice, not necessarily the right choice, but make the best choice, or put work really, really hard, then that makes up for it.
Yeah, I mean, life is simply a road full of forks, and you're gonna walk, 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 and you're gonna come to a fork, and you're gonna have to make a decision. And that's a great word you just said there, man. You said choices. People making choices. A lot of people are where they are in life simply because of one bad choice, one bad decision. And so it took a half a second of not thinking or getting too emotional, completely change the trajectory of your life. So I think that's very key. Is teaching your children how to make decisions and to be decisive too, because sometimes people can stall and never make any decision,
Right.
which can be just as bad too. Inaction can be just as bad. It can be crippling.
It's all about thinking before you speak, and not let emotions get involved. Before I try to make any like big decision, I like to take a step back, and if I'm feeling really emotional, I try to meditate on it or think on it, or be like, how is this going to impact me? What should I do? And then I'll make the decision that way. Because if you don't, I've done that where I've made decisions where I've gotten mad before, and it never ends well, ever.
Yeah. I also think people shouldn't be dating. Sidebar. Like, yeah, young kids, I don't think they should be dating.
What age do you think?
Um, I don't think age. I think accomplishments. Like, you should have to meet a certain level of requirements.
Okay.
Like, for example, if you build a business and it has 10 employees, you might be good at relationships. Because you actually know how to deal with people. You might be somebody worth talking to or building a life with. If you're a Walmart worker, and you're 62 or maybe 45, who wants to date a Walmart worker at 45? You know what I mean?
Another Walmart worker.
Well, yeah, there you go.
And with me though, it's like I don't necessarily judge people on their type of work that they do, that they're in, that they do. I judge them more on like their vibe that they have, and like how hard they work. Just because some people are satisfied with just working at Walmart or working at McDonald's or doing X, Y, and Z. They don't necessarily want more,
Yeah,
and to me that's okay though.
that's a terrible way to live your life.
But some people are comfortable with that, and you can't tell somebody how to live their life. You can give them suggestions, but if they're happy, just because they're happy with this quality of life doesn't mean that you have to be. It doesn't make them stupid. It doesn't make them a bad person. It just, they're just different. And that's, we can't, everybody can't do the same thing, because if everybody had the same aspirations and the same dream, what kind of society would we live in? We would all
Well,
be
kids would
like,
have jobs.
huh?
Kids would be able to get jobs.
That's true. That's a whole nother thing too, because I think that kids, when you're 30 or however old you need to be to get a job, you need to have a job. You need to work at McDonald's, work at a drugstore, deal with basic customer service, because there's too many damn kids that do not work. They go to college, they come out of college with no work experience, they get a job because they have a bachelor's, and they can't even talk to people. They don't know how to deal with stressful situations unless
Right.
you've had to deal with an irate customer when you're making minimum wage at, like, I remember making minimum wage at like $6 an hour, $8 an hour, and someone's screaming at you and you don't know how to diffuse that situation. How are you going to diffuse a situation when you're in the real world?
Yeah. Yeah. When you come to a date, you need to be asking the other person to come with their CV. Bring your resume. I'd like to review your resume. I want to see all your previous employers. I want to see, institutions of education. I want to know what extracurricular activities you were involved in high school, throughout college, and afterwards, right? Like, these are important things. They tell you a lot about a person, because a person doesn't have extracurricular activities, you might become their life. And when you're no longer in their life, they may turn into a stalker.
That's a good thing. That's a good point that you brought up. That's a really, really good point. That makes sense too.
You
I
ain't got no life.
need to get more hobbies. I got enough going on right now. I cannot wait.
You got the Wendy O show.
I got the Wendy O show. I've got school. I've got a husband. I got baby. I got stepkids. I have, what else am I got my side hustle, like marketing stuff that I do. I trade. I do everything. I need to, and I work. I picked up boxing again. I started boxing.
Uh oh.
Yep. I started boxing again. I boxed for
Kicking
two.
ass.
Yeah, I boxed for 2 years when I was 16 to 18. I trained for like 2 hours a day, like in the morning and at night, and then I stopped. And then during this quarantine time, I says, you know what, I'm gonna get my energy and get some of my aggression out, some of my anger out. So I found my old bag that I bought when I was 16, 50-pound bag, and I got some gloves in the garage, and I just go out there and I beat the piss out of that thing for 20 minutes. And that's what I'm gonna do when we're done.
Nice, nice. Hit
Yeah.
the bag.
Hmm?
Nice. Well, that's another good show this week, man.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all subscribe. Thank you for everybody that came through to listen and hit us with super chat. Before you leave, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. And we'll be mad next week. We're gonna be keep talking relationships, help y'all through this whole dating and marriage thing, man.
And if anybody's got any questions, add us at Twitter, add us at Twitter, and then we'll get those questions. We'll answer those questions. We got to take like 5 questions and give some relationship advice, because I think it would be beneficial to people.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Shout out to Kristen with the super chat. Appreciate you, love. Yeah, that's a good idea. If you guys got questions, tag us. What's your Twitter? Crypto Wendy O?
Yep, Crypto Wendy O and at Hotep Jesus, just tag us. If you DM me, I will not answer. Don't DM me, I won't answer.
Yeah, and let us know if you want it to be anonymous, just in case you're asking something embarrassing. You don't want people to know. You
we'll,
know
we'll,
your
we'll give you a
identity.
shout out. And even on my Twitter, I'll tag, if you send me your I'll tag you. Be like, we answered questions for da 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 da.
Yeah. Hotep Lord Lamik Shabazz. $5 super chat. Thank you. He said, what should every man do with their stimulus checks? Buy Bitcoin.
Hotep said it. I posted on Twitter. I says, y'all need to pay your bills, pay your debt off, and then you can buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Buy Bitcoin. I'm gonna clip that of you saying that. I'm gonna post it on Twitter.
Sick. Yeah, man. But good chat this week, man. I'll see you next week.
All right, see you next week. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, set alerts, guys. Bye
Yeah.
bye.